This is Terms of Reference. I'm your host, Stephen Laddick. Fsahat Hassan is the founder and current chairperson of the Youth Advocacy Network, a national-level, youth-led, democratic, and volunteer-driven organization in Pakistan with more than 1,500 members across the country. Fsahat recently received the prestigious Youth Excellence Award from the President of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan for his work with young people. He also chaired the first youth-led regional-level conference for youth in 2014 and has represented Pakistan and his region in multiple other venues. Fsahat is also a regional council member of Rah-nu-ma and the national focal point for the Global Youth Coalition on HIV/AIDS. I spoke with Fsahat in Lahore, Pakistan. Hi there, Fsahat. Thank you so much for being on the Terms of Reference podcast today.
Hi, Stephen. Thank you so much for taking me.
Tell me, where are we calling you today?
Yeah, I'm located in Lahore, Pakistan.
In Lahore, okay. I hope that the weather's nice in Lahore today.
Yeah, it's good, but it's hot.
So, Fsahat, tell me, what is it that you do? What's your job title? What is it that you do every day for the Youth Advocacy Network?
Currently I'm serving as a chairperson of the board of the organization. This is my second tenure, and I mostly work on the proposal writing and on the monitoring and evaluation, as well as on the project implementation plans, and also work with my team who are working on the different projects at field level as well as at advocacy level.
So tell me, what is it that the Youth Advocacy Network does? What's the mission? What's the goal of the organization?
It's very interesting. Youth Advocacy Network envisions the meaningful youth participation or the partnership of young people at policy level in all youth-related policies and programs in Pakistan.
Give me an example of something that you're...
Yeah.
Sorry, I apologize.
Yeah.
Give me an example of a particular policy or particular area that you're working in or being an advocate for right now.
Yeah, currently we are focusing on three major areas. One is health, second is education, and third is the population. Because currently in Pakistan, the young population 0 to 29, like we take the child, adolescent, and young people together. They are more than 64% of the total population. So when the young people are in majority, so their voices should be heard at the policy level when the policy makers and the parliamentarians are going to decide something for the population. You know what I mean? So that is the most important point for us, and we successfully had our voices being heard in the youth policy that happened in 2012. And we are very proud to say that Youth Advocacy Network contributed very positively in all the youth policy that is for the state level youth policy in Punjab, Pakistan.
That's fantastic. Congratulations. Fsahat, I understand that you recently received an award from the President of Pakistan. Tell us how that came to be and what you were recognized for.
This award was actually awarded to me with a very long and very lengthy process. This award was the Youth Excellence Award under the category of entrepreneurship and humanitarian work with the young people in Pakistan. This ceremony held in Islamabad at President House on 12th of August on the International Youth Day. So it was really an honor for me and for my organization, of course, that the President and the organizers recognized me as one of the youth leader in Pakistan who achieved this award after so long time.
Congratulations. That's a fantastic award to receive. How large is the network? How large is the network that you're working with to have that voice?
We have representation from all over Pakistan, from all pockets of Pakistan, because currently Pakistan have 4 states and 3 federally administrative areas, which is Azad Kashmir, FATA and Gilgit-Baltistan. So we have representation from all over Pakistan. We have more than 1,500 members currently, and we have board of from all over Pakistan. Like we have 2 members from each chapter, because we name the chapters, not the provinces. So we have 2 members from each chapter equally with gender balance, and we recently have a transgender in our board so that we can also involve and take their voices in the organization at least.
That's very, very forward-looking for Pakistan, don't you think?
Yeah, of course. Because we learned many things since we are working in Pakistan. We like at first level we were only working with young people on the sexual reproductive health rights, and then like slowly our board decided to not only focus on the sexual reproductive health rights but also related issues who are affecting the health of the young people. So then slowly but progressively we were taking steps ahead to make sure that young people, particularly in Youth Advocacy Network, are learning and progressing and moving forward.
And how do you determine these strategic directions of the organization? You said you started with sexual education, sexual health, these types of things. What was the reason for starting there, and at what moment or what made you aware that you needed to either expand or change directions?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question. Actually, we started this network because I'm the founder member. We started in 2005. There was a workshop actually going on sexual reproductive health rights in 2005 when I was about 16 years old. So there was a discussion at the end of the workshop that how we can work with the young people and all that. And then I started that why not we should go for a youth group that focus on the sexual reproductive health rights of young people, because at that time it's about 10 years now. So 10 years back, there was not such organizations who were working for or working with the young people on sexual reproductive health rights in Pakistan solely. So after some discussions, we come up with an idea that we should go for a youth organization or a youth group. We worked as a youth group till 2010. Like for 5 years, we were working as a youth group in Pakistan with different young people from all pockets of Pakistan on the sexual health rights.
Is that a specific designation? Is it a legal designation, or is that just?
No, till 2010. Till 2010, we were not registered. We were just a youth group.
Okay, but so you're just a group of youth. Okay.
Yeah, but in 2010, our governing, we decided to be a proper youth organization so that we can work legally. So we registered Youth Advocacy Network as a youth-led organization, and we have had now a governing board as I shared with you earlier. So in 2010, we again discussed our vision and mission, because before that we were only focusing on sexual reproductive health rights of young people. But in 2010, all this war and terror that is happening in Afghanistan, which is affecting young people here in Pakistan as well. So we discussed that why not we should go other issues of really the issues of young people, not only sexual reproductive health rights. So in 2010, from 2010 to 2012, this was the transition period, you can say, from where in that era we actually moved from sexual reproductive health to a larger issues of young people in Pakistan. And no doubt, currently the SRHR or sexual reproductive health is one of the core areas of Youth Advocacy Network. But now we are also working on democracy as well as on human rights.
Mm. How did you, as a 16-year-old in Lahore, come to this first workshop on sexual reproductive rights? What was it just something you were interested in? Did your parents have you go? Why did you show up there?
Yeah, actually, there is a background because I started working as a volunteer or as a peer educator with an organization named AIDS Awareness Society in 2000 when I was in school. So this organization came to my school who just gave us a lecture that HIV/AIDS is a disease and we should be careful about that. It was just an awareness session, and they selected about 10 people from my class, and I was one of them whom they gave a training, and I started working with them as a volunteer for further awareness with young people on HIV and AIDS. So this workshop was announced by an international organization named Rutgers WPF now, which was at that time World Population Foundation. So they announced a call for participation, so I applied for that and I got selected.
What has been, during those first 5 years when you were starting to grow this youth group and before you decided to become an official organization, what was your biggest challenge? Because you were talking about a topic that is not, necessarily open in your society.
Exactly. That is very, again, interesting question. Actually, within our group, like, if I am talking to my friends, my peers, so it is not a very big deal that we are talking about sexual reproductive health rights of young people. But yes, when we go to some institute and we have to convince some kind of elders or the decision maker who are sitting at the high level, so then there was a problem. But strategically, we have been involving different organizations and different elders who are who believe in who believe in the rights or who have the rights based approach. So we involve them at first level, and we get their recommendation that how we can involve the elders. That all was the advocacy tools that we were working on or we were getting from different organizations or elders. So through that strategy, we were actually working on with the students in the universities, in the colleges, and whenever we feel some kind of difficulties, we always contact those elders who are supporting to us or still they are supporting to us in terms of sexual reproductive health rights. So this was a big support from some of the organizations and some individuals. Secondly, there was another big challenge. That was the dropout of the young people. For example, we had a very good team in the beginning, and some of them then get married, and then they left for their own jobs and for their own homes, So it was also a challenge for us at that time, even sometimes now, that some, like the people who are really working hard in the organization and they have to leave for some reasons. It's a volunteer-based organization. We have not like big office or not big account, like big budgets. So it is sometimes difficult for us to make sure that we have the right person at the right positions. So this is another big challenge that we have faced.
And how have you overcome specifically that second one of retaining interested people? Has that become easier as you became an official organization and have a budget, or is that still your number one problem?
Yeah, it is still a problem, but it's not a very big problem now, because now we have some committed people who are working with us. But again, it's a risk again. Like, you never know when they will get some better job or better opportunity and they have to leave. You can't just strict people just on the basis on the volunteer work. So it is still one of the big problem. But now, because we have some of the some different projects that are going on, so we have now the second line. For example, now we have some people who are working with us, but they are not working as closely as the other people are. So now we have at least second line for the people who might go in future, or like definitely being a youth, you have to leave one day.
Absolutely, I understand. Tell me about a time when, over the last 5 years, you have been advocating for a policy or working in a place and you failed, that you just weren't successful. And what did you do about it?
So far, there was a meeting that was going on in the Punjab Assembly. Actually, it is a legislative assembly where I was representing young people. There was a point when I was just trying to make sure that the rights of young people or the life skills based education should be included in the education curriculum. So at that time, because there was only 3 or 4 young people who were in the committee, and rest of the people were from the bureaucracy and from the parliamentarians. So at that time, I feel that we should have some. It was the point when I feel that I'm not getting response as they should be, because I was not talking something which is not in our society. So at that time I feel like there was 2-3 meetings in which I feel that there should be some different strategy to advocate for the rights to these people particularly. So that was the time.
Okay.
And I'm talking about 2010.
Okay. Tell me, you said that one of your major jobs is fundraising. Tell me how you go about fundraising. Is it proposal development? Are you going and knocking on the doors of corporations for donations? Where do you get your funds and how do you go about it?
Yeah, it's more, mostly it's about the proposal writing in terms of like donor agencies that we have in the social sector. But recently we have started contacting to the corporate sector as well. But because I'm not very expert in that, so we are trying to get some young people from the marketing side, so that they can help us how to engage or convince the multinational or corporations.
And how do you learn about proposal opportunities? Are these opportunities that are posted locally, or is it simply you find them online, or does somebody call you and say, hey, we'd like to get a proposal from you?
Yeah, it's actually three, like in all ways. Sometimes we get calls from the people who knows us and they know how we are working here in Pakistan, so they simply call to us and say, hey, this is the opportunity that we can see that you people can avail it as you are working on that. So we write to them. Second is like online, of course. We see online, as UNAOC was one of them that I see online, and we applied for that. And yes, sometimes we get opportunities through some colleagues who share with us that this is the opportunity that you can apply for.
How do you divide up your day? You're on the board of directors. You are doing fundraising. You're overseeing programs and administering. Do you do all of those things every day, or do you divide your week up, or what's a typical day look like?
The board is actually that we have 2 meetings in a year. So like we have to only work 1 week before the board meeting, in which we discuss what we are going to do. So it is not a very big deal in the board meeting, because we have to only share our progress and what we are doing and what we can do in future, or what we need to discuss further. So it is only like twice in a year. The most difficult task, you can say, or the most busiest task is the fundraising, because you have to have always some ideas to give to the donors, that what you can do different, So like most of the time I do proposal writing and the monitoring and evaluation. Monitoring, like what's going on or what kind of activity is going on.
And is monitoring and evaluation, is that only of your programs, or is that also monitoring policy movements and what's going on in the government?
Monitoring. Monitoring means is not the activities that's going on, but it's programs. Like for example, we had recently this regional level South Asian Youth Conference. So I was was looking on the that how we are going to talk to the governments, how we are going to talk to the UN, how we are going to talk to the partner organizations in the region, or how we are going to come up with the South Asian Regional Youth Declaration that we came up with after the conference. So it's more about like strategic level or the policy level.
Going back to when you were 16 and you went to that first meeting, was this something that you had always planned on doing, or did you was it just because that opportunity happened to present itself where you got the award and you were awarded to go to this meeting, or were you always set on being a community activist?
Yeah, I think it was not only that opportunity, because I have been working when we get that, as I shared, there was an organization who came to my school and they gave us a lecture. So after that lecture, I think when they share with us that how we are working and how we can move forward. So even from the same day, I started discussing with my friends that how we can work at our constituency, at our street level. How young people we can sit together and discuss that how we can do the positive things in our society, or at least in our street where we are living. So I think, and we have even formed a very informal group at that time. I can remember it was 2001 to 2003, like for 3 years when I was in school. So we had a youth group of like very informal, when we sit together and we discuss sometime what government is doing, or sometime we discuss that how our the councillors or the local governments are working or doing the developmental work, and how we should cooperate with them. So it was mostly about that. So it was not the opportunity. So actually I was working on this kind of work before that.
As you've been going along, you've been doing this for a decade now. Is there a particular story you like to tell about when you were successful? You told us in the beginning about the policy success that you had earlier, but I'm thinking more on a very local or community level. Is there a success story that you like to tell to people? About how
Yes.
you affected, one youth or a family or something like that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure. Actually, it is 2004, right after my matriculation, like after my school. We actually discussed with the madrasa student. You may know the madrasa, where the religious education, the students get the religious education in Pakistan. So we named it madrasa. So I discussed with the madrasa, and we agreed that we are going to give a lecture to the madrasa students on HIV and AIDS. So at the moment, the teacher agreed that okay, you people can come and discuss with the students. But on the same day, when we went with my team to the madrasa, that we came here for that discussion, so they totally refused us. That you just can't have that session because it's not our issue. It's the issue of West. It's not our, like, you know what I mean. Like, people think that it's only the issue of the societies who are very open. So because my father is a school teacher, and also, as I discussed, we have also some adults on board as advisors who support us in different levels. So I talked to my father at that time, and I asked him that this is the situation. Now we are ready. We have some even guests from the organization who came here to see that how we are working. So it's very embarrassing for me. So my father came and he discussed with the kind of head teacher who was leading that. So finally, after my father's interventions, they agreed, okay, fine, these youth can have only 30 minutes and they can discuss whatever they can. So it was like one of the strategies that we learned in the very beginning, that how we need to use the right people at right time, and we can get success in particular issues, even if it's not very easy.
That's fantastic. So you're not only responsible for proposal writing and running the programs, but you also have to make sure that your organization continues to function. So are there tools that you use to manage programs, or are there tools that you use to do your bookkeeping that you have found are particularly effective?
Well, yes, of course, we have some kind of, as I discussed, that we always discuss tools and the strategies in our board meetings. So it we change it accordingly. For example, for policy advocacy, we always decide in the board meeting that what we are going to do in the next years. In next years, like 5 years, kind of strategic plans we have, or we have some policies, the organizational policies, which we always follow to implement our programs. So these are some tools that we use to make sure that organization is functioning correctly.
What about just your simple day-to-day business? Do you guys maintain a bookkeeper? Do you do payroll? Do you have that kind of complexity right now, or is that something that you're still working towards?
Not day to day. Yeah, that's true that we are not like keeping everything like day to day. What we are going day to day, but yes, we always report. The people who are working in the organization, they report, for example, on the particular projects that are going on. So reports are there, but not daily book notes that we are discussing currently within the organization, that we should have something daily basis notes or the reports or something like that. But not yet we are following.
And what's your major method of communication? Is it physical face-to-face interaction, or are you guys SMSing back and forth? Do you use instant message, email? What's the way that you keep things moving in your organization?
Yeah, most of the time it's the phone calls or the SMS, and second is the email, because all the board members and some of the staff members are not in the same place, like they work in some other cities as well. So usually we use the phone call or the SMS for the routine communications.
What does the next 5 years look like for you as a person, as a professional? You've been working for the Youth Advocacy Network for more than 10 years now. What do you see yourself doing in 5 years? Are you still working for them, or are you moving on to something else?
Yeah, well, my objective, or you can say my vision, is to, of course, move forward, because I really want to give this opportunity to some other people as well. But I would stay here till we would find some real energetic person who can replace me, and I see myself working at might be in the government or at the UN level. That I see myself in next 5 years.
Is there a particular path within the government or within the UN that you think is appropriate for you?
Well, because I am a very kind of social person, so I really feel that you can change when you are in the system. So the system that I can find is the two major systems. One is the government, and second is the UN. Yeah, in the government, there are different ways. I can go as a bureaucrat because I am still young and I can apply for that. I can go I can work as a bureaucrat, and I can be some of the policymakers, and then I can change whatever we want. And secondly, in the UN, definitely there is another way to apply in the UN, and when I'm working and people knows here in Pakistan that I'm working, so there is some links that we have already in the UN. So at least on the basis of my experience and the education, because my education is also in the same sector.
Is there a particular tool that you use or a particular technique that you use to manage programs?
Yeah, actually it is according to it depends on the program. Sometimes we just go to the community and we talk to one person to another person, and we get some right person sometimes. But most of the time we go from the upside. For example, we go through some member of the parliament, or we go through some of our friend who lives there, or some correct person, contact person in particular area. We usually go through that way, not directly we go in the community.
And so give me an example of a particular program you're working on right now about how you would keep track of the individuals you're talking to, and the types of responses you're getting, and how you use that in your advocacy work.
Yes, we acknowledge the people who are supporting us. For example, recently we organized a South Asian Regional Youth Conference, and at the moment, in the last moments, in the last month of when we were only 1 month behind, we were even thinking that we should postpone it because we were not having enough funds. But again, our strategy to having the right contacts with us, it helped us a lot. So we contacted to the university, one of the university whom we were working before in one of our projects. So they agreed that okay, we can give you free the hall, free food, and free some other facilities, you don't have to pay for the electricity or some other facilities. So then, and on the other part, we again engaged the government, who supported us in terms of hoteling, in terms of some other they organized the culture night for us. They organized some of the dinners for the international participants. So we organized in such a way that we used right people at the right places. So we then recognize and acknowledge them in our events. For example, some of them are in our advisory board, whom we have, for example, we have some of the parliamentarians who are really supporting us, and some people from the organization who always support us. So we take them on board as advisors, who we always go to them and ask them, what do you suggest to us, how we should go for that. And then we come to our board, who are the right decision making body. So in other way, for example, the people who are not in our advisory board, we acknowledge them in our events. We invite them as a guest, or they share their stories that why they support to the young people. So we have different strategies to acknowledge, so that they can still connect it to us and support to us, or support to the young people.
2 more questions for you. First, youth advocacy is a powerful and energetic topic that you find in many different countries, many different regions. How are you connecting with other youth organizations or other movements around the world? How do you reach out, and how do you stay connected?
I would say luckily we have been getting right people even in the past as well. We are in contact with some of the people who are working in the East Asia, in the Europe, and in the US even. We were the only organization who represented in a global youth forum that happened in 2012. 2012 in Bali, where all the youth movements came together in the Bali in collaboration with the United Nations, and we discussed a lot of future strategies that how we can move forward. And this South Asian Regional Youth Conference was one of them. And even in this conference, we involved all the youth movements and the youth-led organizations from the region who can support us. And particularly in Pakistan, Youth Advocacy Network, and particularly myself, I have a vision that we really need to gather, or we need to be connected as a youth-led organization in Pakistan, so that we can make our voices more effective at the policy level.
My final question for you, Fsahat, is you work with youth every day, and you have been able to successfully create an organization that's been effective in this community engagement and development work. What advice do you give to the young people who work with you, or to people that you come in contact with who say, gosh, I'd really like to be a community activist, or I'd really like to be a development worker? What's your critical advice to them about how to get started and how to be successful?
Yeah, it's very simple. If you believe in something from heart, you just have to start. You just don't need to wait for other people who will come and who will support you, and then will start. When you will start, you will see the difference. You will see that people are supporting you. You will see the organizations are supporting you, and you will see that you are supporting yourself. So the first very important step is that you have to believe in that what you are going to do. That is the first step. And second step is then you have to start. You are the only person who can do that. If you would not think like that, you even cannot even you cannot start even. So first step is you have to believe in. Second is you have to start by yourself. And third, very important, you have to take on board. You have to have a team. You have to have colleagues. You have to have the right persons at right places. These are the three key steps that I have learned during my experiences.
Fsahat, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us today.
Thank you so much.
You've been listening to Terms of Reference, a weekly podcast from aidpreneur.com. Find us on iTunes or at www.aidpreneur.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.